That's bad.
What's up, guys? We're back to work on the Mustang. We got a lot of fabrication to do today. So you probably can't tell, but I've spent the last couple days cleaning the garage. You can actually walk through there now. I have to sweep up some of the piles of trash, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for this. So went and got the stock radiator, just used as mock-up. I was like, man, could probably make this thing work, but where I want to put the turbo, that upper hose is pretty in the way. Yeah, so probably not going to use this. Like I said in the last video, I'd like to get one where both the inlet and outlet are on the driver's side. Did find a battery tray. It doesn't go to this. It goes to, I think it was originally for the Skylark, because it's in my box of Skylark parts. So might modify that to make that work, which is basically just weld one plate down the front of it to bolt it to the frame. And then we got the transmission mount over here. That's what we're going to be starting with, is getting the transmission in. Because once we get the transmission in and we get the engine permanently where it's going to sit, because I don't want to start on the turbo kit and then find out that it needs to lean forward a bunch or lean back a bunch or whatever. So yeah, we're going to start with the transmission, get the car lifted up, get to work on that, see how much we need to modify the cross member there. I'm kind of expecting to just have to lop these ends off and then weld a plate to them and then just run my own bar. It's kind of what I'm expecting. Got a mount for this thing that has the single. So making the mount wouldn't be too hard. I've got some, this might be too beefy. It's a little bit bigger than what I'd like to use, to be honest. This is 1.5 inches, like Schedule 40 or Schedule 80, whatever the frig it is. I think like 1 inch would be ideal size. But we'll get the car lifted up and get the transmission bolted to the motor and then see how we can tilt things and then go from there, one step at a time. Then, like I said, as soon as we get the transmission in place and get the driveline angles figured out, then I want to start on the turbo kit. And to do that, we got these beauties over here. So these are stock truck manifolds. I'm going to pull the shields off, wire wheel them, then we will cut the ends off here. These are some 2.5 inch V-bands. I was going to go with 2.25, but I had these laying around and it was cheaper to just reuse the 2.5s and get some 2.5 inch pipe than it was to get 2.25 and 2.25 V-bands and yada yada yada. I also have right here, this is our T4 open flange, already threaded on the holes, so that's nice. I have a rough plan for how I want to do that, but like I said, one step at a time. Let's get this thing lifted up and see what we can do about the transmission. Alright, got the car up. While it's up, I need to also do the steering rack bushings and steering shaft U-joint. And I think while it's up, real quick, I'm going to clean up everything under here and hit it with some chassis paint. I think that's what I'm going to do real quick. Just get that out of the way real quick and not have to think about it again. Alright, got the rack bolted on, got the underside of the car all coated, so we're looking good there. Went and picked up some bolts for the cross member as well, and just a quick little 2-foot chunk of 3/4. So like I said, we'll probably lop it off in here somewhere, and then might have to make the rest with the pipe. If not, I'll save that for something else. We could probably get away with just welding a plate on this and doing a section like that, because I just measured from the rear face of the block to where the center of the crossmember mounts are. That's 23 inches. And from the face of the transmission to the center of this mount is about 20.5, give or take. So like I said, could probably get away with just welding a plate on that with a hole where it needs to be. But a proper tubular deal always looks a lot nicer. So once we get it up in there and get a couple bolts in, we'll see where this thing wants to land. Alright, once I got the wood block that I was using to keep the engine off the firewall out of the way, that went right in there. Easy peasy. So let me get some of these bolts started. All right, got those 4 bolts tightened up. Now, let's see how far we take this. Let me get the angle finder and check some measurements. All this still looks fine. Looking at these motor mounts, I could almost go a little further, but that's not necessary. So let's find out what angle the car is at. It is, looks like right at 0. This is no way it's that far back. No way. Let me double check everything. This is 8 degrees back? No fucking way. Alright, so this is where it's gonna have to live, just to make sure that we have clearance for everything. Could move some sheet metal around if I really wanted to. I kind of don't want to. Because I also have to keep in mind that we've got the motor up about 1 inch higher than factory. So I think this is just one of those put up with your bullshit sort of deals, and that's what we're gonna do. Now we can cut the zip tie, get the mount in there, and start figuring that out. That should be pretty simple though. Got the transmission mount swung up in here. Cute little fucker. Now, do I expect this car to ever have a full exhaust system on it ever again? No. But is the idea of leaving this intact with the dual humps just in case down the road, for whatever reason, this thing ever has a full exhaust system on it again growing on me? Yes, it is. So I'm starting to really like that just weld a plate on top idea. Quick, simple, to the point. I can save that $5 pipe for something else. I've got plenty of this. This is 1/8 inch. Realistically, that would probably be fine. Is there any scrap chunks? Yes, scrap chunks. Let's go. This is also 1/8 inch, but this saves me some material. All right, so let's go see what we can come up with for this. So, can we just set you right on top there? No, that's way too tall. There is a lip here. That lip is about the right height. We got plenty of length on this thing. Sorry, the camera's all over the place. I'm trying to look at what I'm doing while also filming. What I'm thinking is I will notch a section off the bottom of this to sit up on top of the cross member and then like sink around that lip. And then I will clearance the front section to more easily get to the nut on that. And then I think we've got a pretty good deal there. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna start chopping this thing up, see what I can come up with. All right, here is what I've come up with. It's just resting on there right now, but I still need to clean it up a little bit. For right now, I think I'm going to clamp it in place, take it over to the bench, get it welded on, and then I can take like a flap disc or something, clean all the edges up, make it look nice. Yeah, I'm pretty content with that. I think that'll work pretty well. All right, let's go get it welded up. All right, nice, simple, to the point. Got it welded on 3 different angles. So I'm gonna let it cool off, splash some paint on it, and then that's all done. The huge bummer here, the car came with 2 drive shafts, right? Neither of them work. It needs to be like right in the middle of those 2 lengths. Stupid, stupid, stupid cars. I tell you what. We can either cut down the long one ourselves, splash a quart of ATF in it, call it a day, and then just get the correct yoke for the transmission. Because is this I think a 27 spline, something like that. Neither of those fit it. I might have one right here. Yeah, this one should work. This is, I think this is one that came with the RX-7. Yeah, that'll work. So we can just get a conversion U-joint or just cut this and weld it to that tube. Damn. Hate it when that happens. Actually, that looks like 2.5, and that's probably 3. So that might not work. Yeah, we'll probably end up cutting the one down ourselves and splashing some ATF in it, calling it a day. That's what I did for the drive shaft in the Skylark, because that has a like a Silverado aluminum one that I cut like a foot off of, or half a foot, something like that, and then I just splashed some ATF in it. It's supposed to be temporary, but I've had the car to 100 miles an hour, and so far it hasn't come out, so we'll see. Eventually, I do want to get a good drive shaft for it, but yeah, I actually forgot completely about that until just thinking about all this. Back onto business. Let me get this thing painted and get that thrown in the car, and then we can drop it down and start looking at stuff for the turbo kit. All right, here is our trans mount fully done. Nice, simple, to the point. Should be plenty strong enough. If for whatever reason we need to, we can add a gusset plate on the back and something on the sides, but like I said, this isn't going to be some crazy horsepower car, so that should be plenty. All right, everything's still looking nice and kosher up here, so that's good. I got the radiator zip tied up here so we can keep that kind of in place, just to make sure everything's going to clear, which it should. I need to set a balancer on the crank. I don't want to press it on just yet because I might get a timing cover with a drain in it. So I don't want to have to deal with pulling it back off, which wouldn't really be a huge deal, but you know, let's just not do that. Yeah, so it looks like next up is we'll get a water pump set on here and then start cleaning up the manifolds and start just piecing things together. We're going to run a higher mount alternator, so we don't have to worry about that. Obviously there's going to be no power steering because we got the manual rack. So it's going to be just crank, water pump, alternator, the way God intended. Once we get the manifolds in place, we'll move on to where we want to set the turbo and then just connect the dots. All right, got this manifold all cleaned up, got the shield off of it, wire wheeled it a little bit, V-band welded on, looks ugly as hell. I had some leftover high temp aluminum paint, like aluminum color paint, for like 2,000 degrees. I was like, we'll try it. I mean, I don't hate it. It looks like the factory cast 60s stuff, you know? Oh, I gotta grab a water pump too. I've got this one here that I don't remember what it came from. Probably get this thing cleaned up and splash some of that aluminum paint on it real quick. Make it look nice and new. All right, got things kind of in place. Has kind of that throwback feel to it, which I like. I also painted the water pump. I don't remember if I mentioned I was going to do that or not. But now we can start mocking up the turbo where that's going to be. We're kind of restricted to where we can put it just because I'm trying to leave everything stock and intact as much as possible. Like if we tube front end this thing, then we can put it wherever. And like I'm probably going to have to cut some of this out. I'd like to not do that though. So that's where we're gonna run into some issue. So I'm gonna hook up the engine hoist to the turbo. We'll let it dangle here and start coming up with some ideas. All right, this is where I'm thinking the turbo is gonna live. Like I said, I don't know if I mentioned it in this video, but in the last video I said that I'm easily distracted. Okay, I want to get a radiator with both inlet outlet on the driver's side, so we don't have to worry about this. This is in here just for mock-up, taking up space, that sort of thing. The flange here clears the brake lines and everything. We got plenty of air gap there. Whoops, fucked this whole deal up. We'll keep trucking along. So we basically need a horseshoe up into there. That's all good. And then we can just go down under the pulley, loop it into that. More or less the same thing that we did over here with the 55. So you can see just like a little whoop-de-doo into this. Cross over here, connects into where that horseshoe is. Easy peasy. That one is 2 1/4 merged into a 3-inch into a T6. This will all be 2 1/2. And then for the outlet of the turbo, I'm just gonna hole saw right through the inner fender. We can go straight down, curve it into the intercooler. Probably gonna use that one up there. It's a VS whatever. And then we'll probably loop it around like this and then bring it up so that everything doesn't really have to get touched over here. I did pull the battery tray out because I was thinking maybe I'm just going to have to put it over here to do things how I want, but I think this will be pretty good. And then I'll be able to just maybe do 1 or 2 pie cuts for the exhaust. Probably only 1 pie cut, like a 10-degree one or whatever. And then the exhaust will go straight down and then basically straight out the bumper, so it's just a little whoop. I don't know if I mentioned what turbo this is. This is a VS 7875 billet wheel next gen with a 4-inch exhaust. So I would like to keep this a little bit like that, and then might have to get a little creative with the bottom port there from the water pump, but it should be good. And then if I really, really wanted to, I could make a little scoop or something, or a little trap door, something to get fresh air, but I think we'll probably be okay there. Like I said, this isn't some max effort deal. This is a budget kind of street hot rod. I do have the turbo up a little high, just in an effort to keep the center of gravity up a little bit higher. Just trying to... you know, because we are going to race it periodically. Nothing crazy because we're not putting a cage in it at all. It is first and foremost a street car, but we'd still like it to be a pretty quick, fun street car. So this thing's probably going to make 500-600 horsepower, give or take, which will still be a 9-second car. So I can now, I always like to get started on the closer side first, and then I can bring this one over and merge it. That's just the way I like to operate. I'm sure there's people who like to do things the opposite way, but I find it a lot easier and quicker to do the short side, get things more securely in place, and then we can bring that one over. So that's where we're going to start. Basically, just need a U-bend, and we do have to make sure to keep in mind that we need room for a wastegate also. So we might be able to bring the wastegate like straight off of that U-bend, sort of, almost parallel with the frame rail there, and then that'll leave us room to wrap the exhaust pipe under it, fitting 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. But I'm gonna get cutting some pipe and turn the camera back on when something fun and exciting happens. Alright, here is how the elbow's looking. Just got it tacked in place. Gonna have to pound that motherfucker out. But it looks, I don't know if I can get you guys on a good angle with this. We will be sitting just like this. So I'm gonna go get this all welded up, pound that flange together, and then we can start on the other side, and we'll merge it probably a little bit to the left of my thumb there. So I got it all hammered in shape. Turned out pretty good. Wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. 2.5 actually worked out perfect for it. So, gonna get this thrown on the car in a second. And then, yep, it's starting to burn my hand. And then, like I said, we can move on to the crossover, which shouldn't be too bad. What I'm expecting is I might hit a 45 right at the bend to go down and in, kind of. And then probably... Actually, I might hit a 90 into the bend a little bit. If I cut the 90 like into the bend a little bit to account for the angle that the pipe is on, or the manifold is on, then I can angle it down like that, do a 45 under the pulley, and then another 45 into the crossover, and then we're good. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I'd like to stay... I need to put a pulley on it just to make sure that I'm going to clear everything, which I should be. I'm debating on if I want to put a V-band to remove this crossover independently. In case like I ever got to take the steering rack off or anything like that, I don't have to pull the whole hot side off. I don't know if I have another 2.5 though. You know, I can't imagine that there's going to be a whole lot of times where something like that's going to be necessary. Yeah, I think all I have is 3s. Oh well. Yeah, well, fuck it. We'll just make it one piece. It's not a big deal. Alright. Got this thing on here. That is pretty damn sturdy for only 2 bolts and a V-band holding it on. And then, like I said, we'll just punch a hole through there. Make basically an L pipe. Well, I guess a double L pipe. Right into the intercooler. I did move it back a little bit. Just because that's the way it was easiest to do it, I'm not going to lie. But we should be good there. Now I can, depending on what the other radiator I end up getting for it looks like, can dang near just do a tight 90 out of this thing. I'll still probably do one pie cut just to get a little bit of airspace going on. But it's really going to depend on just packaging. It's pretty much how everything's going. But that's looking pretty darn good. We got ourselves a nice engine bay there. I am happy with that. There. Now we're starting to get the full vision. Now we're starting to get the full vision. That is a pretty good looking engine bay. Alright, so I'm going to daydream for a minute and then I'll get started on the crossover. Alright, making some good progress aside from the chunk of metal that's in my eye that I just can't get out. Got the crossover pretty much done, just need to weld it up. So we're looking pretty decent there. Got this 90 slash cut. Probably one of the better merges I've made in a while. So, gonna get this, start with just a few tacks, and then just lay on as much weld as I can so that it doesn't move, and then take it over to the bench and finish weld it, and hope that it doesn't twist too much and not fit anymore. But it should be good. I thought I had a truck pulley laying around, but I didn't. It must be over at my dad's. So I just threw the ATI one on for the 55, and we've got tons of room there. And the crossover's still above the K member, so we're good on that too. Yeah, overall, not too bad. I wouldn't mind it being a little bit tighter fitting to the motor, but we should be good. And then we've got plenty of room here for the down pipe that'll come out this through the fender, and then plenty of room for a wastegate here. So I'm going to start tacking this up and get this thing to a point where I can at least let it sit and cool off, and then we'll probably call it a day there. Alright, well, we've reached the end of the road for today's video because I am out of welding gas. But I was at least able to get it all tacked up, and I'm pretty happy with it. For the hot side at least. Still have to add the wastegate and then finish weld it all, but pretty simple, straightforward, little MIG welded mild steel deal. And then for the cold side, going to be real basic. That might be in the next couple of videos. I need to get... Do I need to get... I might have enough... I might have enough cold side piping. It'll be close though. And then I have to add the wastegate still, which, let me show you guys that. I don't know if I'm going to use this one, but we'll see. This is going to be right down here, just like that. Might try to put it on a little bit more of an angle, just so it has a little bit better priority, but that's how it's going to be. And that should still give us plenty of room for like a 3-inch core radiator, because I can always tuck the bottom of the radiator in a little bit. But yeah, man, this thing's starting to come together pretty good now. We've got most of the bigger ticket stuff in here now. The only things remaining are the actual radiator and get the intercooler in, which I gotta pull the bumper cover off and pull that bumper support out of the way just to get better airflow to it. Oh, and I don't know if I want to use this converter because that's like a 5500 stall, and we got to figure out something for the drive shaft. But aside from that, after this, it's pretty much just going to be boring stuff. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing and clicking that bell. I'll see you guys next time.